Welcome back, it's Casual Seagrain, and I'm keeping my promise getting this video out tonight. This is going to be the Dungeon 2 guide, or the Desert Dungeon guide. I did say I'd get it out today, because in my video yesterday, which if you haven't watched that one, that would be the precursor to this video, the Dungeon 1 guide. Alright, if you haven't beat Dungeon 1 yet, go watch that video. I'll link it in the description, because you won't be able to access Dungeon 2 until you complete Dungeon 1. So, also in case you didn't know, the Desert Town is where you will unlock your R skill, and then in Town 3, which is the mining town, that's where you'll unlock your passive. So, let's head right into the dungeon. I think that's all there's really to say about this video so far. Let's go. So, first things first, let's load in. I'm playing on my main today, which is the Hunter. I don't have any curses on. This is the first recording of this video, and you can tell I'm pretty, I'm not tilted at all, because I didn't lose a run yet. So, now let's go. Gnome statue off the back. We don't really have to do that right now. I'm pretty strong. Here are the first enemies, the scorpions, basic scorpions. They're pretty easy to kill. Here's a second enemy. The scorpions are melee enemies. I'll kind of show you how they attack. They just put their stinger out in front. Their attack range is kind of long, but they move very slow, and their attack is pretty telegraphed, so it's really easy to avoid. Then you have the cactuses, which are these guys. They'll shoot 4 spikes out, targeting you. So the first spike, or one of the spikes they fire at will target directly at you. So you want to be careful for that. You want to make sure you're moving around them in a circle in order to not get hit by that. As long as you're moving in a circle, it should be pretty easy to avoid them, unless there's like 5 of them all spread out. So those are the 2 main enemy types you'll be fighting on the first few floors. After that, there's a lot of different types of enemies. Not a lot, but it's really just a lot of scorpions, honestly, that you'll be killing early on. So I'm going to go through clear. There we go. Done with that. What's that room over there? Let's go check that out. Oh, this is an ambush room. Ah, let's do it. Yeah. So as I said, lots of scorpions and cactuses for the first few floors. Pretty easy ambush room, just because there's a lot of easy enemies. So, like always, the first few floors and the first section of the floors are going to be relatively easy to beat. Let me go grab this statue. Infinite mana, fine. And let's access the skill. So if you can keep your buff into the when you're going to a next floor from a gnome statue if you go up fast enough, and that also works in the skip. So you can see I still have my infinite mana. All right, there's the second type of enemies. I call them Mori turrets just because I've played Rogue Lineage. They shoot 2 beams out. The beams that has a bit of a wind up, and they'll only aim when they start winding up. So as long as you're moving constantly, they won't really hit you. But if you're standing still or going through a tight corridor, they're going to be kind of annoying. Here's the next enemies, the poison scorpions. If they hit you, you will be poisoned and take about I think it's 1 to 2 hearts of damage. It might be 1.5 hearts of damage. In total, I think it may end up being 2 damage. You'll take a half a heart from the melee attack, and then you'll take a heart and a half of poison damage. So you want to be careful about that and not get hit at all by those yellow scorpions, because they will poison you. If you kill them before a lot of the poison procs, it will stop the poison if you kill the enemy fast enough. So Mori turrets, they shoot purple beams at you. They shoot 2 at a time, but they only shoot where they were aiming when they started winding up. And then you have the poison scorpions, which are just the next tier scorpions. As I said, lots of scorpions in this dungeon. Here's the next tier scorpions up. They're literally nothing special. They're just the same fucking first enemy, but they have more health. Alright, here's some new enemies. I'll try to go through them one by one. Let me clear them out first. I'll go over the shooty boy first. I call this the revolver guy. Yes, very creative naming sense. He will shoot 2 shots and then he'll block. You want to hit him in the time after he shoots, but before he blocks. You want to target that enemy very fast. If you don't target him, he'll block, and then he's really annoying to kill because you can't kill him when he's blocking. Once I find the other enemy type again, I'll explain them. So let's go look around for them. So the next enemy type is the Naga, N-A-G-A, Naga. Sounds like something I shouldn't be saying, but it's an actual thing. You can look it up. N-A-G-A. Wow. Okay. That's another trap. They're really annoying, especially when they're in the tight quarters like this. The fire trap, it will light you on fire and deal 1.5 hearts of damage. Very annoying. But, okay, there's the Naga. It has a tail. It's like half snake, half girl. They shoot flames. Don't walk into the flames. Wait for their attack to be done, and then you can go up and melee them if you're a melee class. If you're range class, you can just hit them all the time. You don't have to worry about them, basically, if you're a range class. So that is the Naga. Let's go complete the rest of this floor, and then we'll take the skip again. So, Mori turret, you know, just keep moving, it won't hit you. The Naga, avoid the flames and then attack, or if you're a range class, you can just attack constantly. Come on, chest, open up. Those are poison spikes. If you step on them, you'll take 1.5 hearts of damage. So be careful about that. And just more basic scorpions. Easy peasy. Alright, let's go buy that holy heart. That was in the shop. And let's grab the potion of healing. Potion of healing is probably the best potion in the game because if you're low, you pop it. It's very easy to hold on to. I think the skip was up here. Yeah, here we are. Alright, so, and just like the Naga, there is another type of enemy. I think they're called Saigas. Okay, there is a boss, or not a boss scorpion, but an elite scorpion. They're just big, but they're also pretty slow. The poison scorpions are going to be your biggest threats. They are kind of fast, and they're pretty tanky. So you don't want to deal with them first, actually. You want to save them for later. There is a Saiga. Oh my gosh. Okay. There's a Saiga. They're blue. They're basically like Nagas, but they shoot blue flames that go further. So they're kind of annoying. So you want to get them first, too. Or if they're Sigmas or something. I honestly don't know, but... there's a next tier of cactus. They shoot 5 spikes out instead of 4. But just like their lesser counterparts, they're pretty easy to avoid as long as you're constantly moving. Alright, there's a new enemy type here. I'll try to save them for last, if I can. Alright, here's the final enemy type. I call them the mini mummies. They have 2 forms to them. So here's the base form, the mummy form. They're pretty easy to kill. They're kind of slow melee. But then, oh my gosh. Then you have their second form, which is once you kill them once, they'll respawn into that, and they shoot bubbles out. They travel really fast, and they do a lot of damage. So once they get into their bubble shooting form, you want to kill them very fast, or they will be extremely annoying. And then here is the next tier. I call them the golems. They're not that hard to kill. They have a lot of HP, but you can get close to them, bait out their attack. It's very easy to bait out their attack, since it has a very long wind up to it. So you don't really have to worry about them that much. As long as you're constantly walking back, they won't be able to hit you. Unless you're a melee class. Then they might be able to, but as long as you're walking back, or dodging in and out of the range, you should be fine. And I think I beat it. There we go. So golems are new enemy types that we've discovered now. They're kind of slow. They walk at you in their melee, but they have a lot of HP. Then you have the mini mummies, which respawn into the bubble boys. The bubble boys are very annoying, so if you can, try to save the mini mummies for the final enemies in the room, and then kill them all at once, and then immediately kill the bubble boys that they spawn from their corpse. So the second dungeon is a lot harder because it has a lot of enemies that have a ton more HP, and they have a lot more annoying ranged enemies. So there's still a few more enemy types to discover. Also, another thing about the second dungeon is that there's 16 floors in total, not 15. So you want to be aware of that. Another thing you want to do when it's your first time entering the second dungeon is that there will be a quest on the town board to save a pet fly. It actually has very good rewards, and you only need to get the floor 5 for it. It's basically like a Save the Blacksmith, but for the second dungeon. Ow. Go. Another Naga. They're pretty easy to kill. A Sigma. They're pretty easy too. Just keep your range. If you're a melee class, wait for them to stop doing their flame breath, and then you can go in and hit them. There's an elite version of a Sigma there. They have a longer range and a bit more HP. Basically just do the same thing, bait out their breath attack, and then go in and hit them. Ow. Since I'm a range class, I can just sit back and spray away. So it's pretty nice being a range class. Nice. Alright, I'm getting some good upgrades here. Tomorrow I will be putting out a video showcasing all the classes in the game. I'm pretty sure there's only 7 classes. So I'll be doing that with my friend, who will also be leveling up some of the classes that I don't have. So we'll be getting that out tomorrow. Alright, there's an elite version of the cactus. They're purple, they're bigger. Basically just more health, more range. Or not range, since they have infinite range. But more health, more damage. A lot more health. As I said in the first dungeon in my beginner guide, you always want to deal with the ranged enemies first. And then you can focus on clearing out all the melee enemies. Ow. Ow. And if you're unable to beat the ranged enemies first, then just bait all the melee ones away and save the ranged enemies that are in that room for later. So that's pretty much it to this dungeon, honestly, for now. I'm just going to progress through the floors a little bit, so y'all can watch along and look at how I try to beat the enemies. But there honestly isn't too many different enemy types, but they are fairly annoying to beat, unless you're a range class. Range classes are very good for this dungeon, but for the third dungeon, melee classes are actually a little better, so there are pros and cons. And I still haven't beat the third dungeon because it's very abusive to range classes. Because it's a lot of close quarters and a lot of melee enemies. So very hard to do. Alright, I'm just gonna speed run through a little bit here. Alright, here's the exit. Let's send it. Well, so whenever I see a new enemy type, I'll point it out, but other than that, I'm just gonna kind of stay quiet. Oh, bubble boy. Oh no, I didn't kill him in time. Annoying. The bubbles, each bubble that they shoot deals 1 whole heart of damage. It's very annoying. Gosh. Okay, here's the next type of enemy, the level 2 Mori turret. They fire 2 parallel beams of energy. So for them, you really want to get in, bait them out, and then hit them. So, but just like the tier 1 enemies, they'll fire where they first started charging up at. So you can really easily avoid their attack as long as you're moving and not running straight at them. Level 2 more turret. And they don't one-shot you, but I still call them more turrets. Oh, that's an elite golem. Just more health, more range, more speed. That's it. Oh, I forgot to buy the soul heart. Oh well. Alright, and once you start... Oh my gosh. Once you start running out of common items, say you're finding a lot of chests and you start running out of common items, you'll start getting a lot of keys and hearts from chests. So once you get to that point, don't worry if you take a few more hits, but you still don't want to get hit in the first place, like always. Gosh. Ow. Gosh, I'm about to get... Oh, yeah, no, I knew it. Try not to back yourself up into a trap room. It's pretty annoying. So as I said, there's the flame traps. There's also those spiky ball traps. They're very easy to avoid, honestly. Unless you're getting trapped in there with an enemy, then you might have to walk into them. But try not to. Well, they only deal half a heart damage though, so you don't have to worry too much about them. Okay, here's an elite golem. They're very tanky. Like, you can see how many shots I'm putting into this guy and he's still not going down. And I'm a bit overbubbled for this dungeon. Alright, a gun boy. Oh, level 2 Mora turret. Or elite Mora turret, whatever you want to call them. You can create your own names for the enemies. It's not too important what you call them, as long as you can recognize what you're dealing with on a fly. Oh gosh. Oof. Just make sure you're constantly moving and you should be fine. Try not to get trapped in tight spaces or you might get messed up. Try to always keep a clear path behind you where you can bait back into, so you're not running into another room of enemies also. That's a very important thing to keep in mind. Because if you're if you're pulling one group of enemies into another, you'd be better off. Let me speak. You'd be better off just fighting in that room that you just ran into, instead of going out into another room full of more enemies. Alright, thank God I bursted him in time. Ow. Didn't expect them to actually have that range. Alright, easy peasy. Moving along. Whew. Okay, here is an elite scorpion. I don't think they apply poison. Actually, let's test. Okay, you didn't even hit me. They're actually pretty, it's actually pretty hard to get hit by them, but they just have a lot of HP and they move faster, so you want to be careful. I don't think they apply poison on hit, but they do a solid amount of damage in the first place, so you want to be careful about them. Alright, next floor, floor 14. 2 more floors to go, or 1 more actual floor to go, and then the boss floor. Alright, damage up. Let's speedrun this. The damage up. Damage up gives you ×2 damage. It's pretty solid to have. Alright, easy peasy. Easy peasy. Alright, let's just send him into this room. Leroy Jenkins style on him. Alright, you can see he's in his dodge state. Very annoying. As soon as he attacks, then you can go in and hit him again. Ow. Oh, level 2 more turret. Oh, there's next floor. Let's just send it. Let's grab the double heart. And then go. Alright, so I think that's it. I think I've gone over every enemy. There are some elite versions of the enemies which are just bigger. They have more HP. But other than that, there's no other special type of enemy that you really have to watch out for. The elites aren't too common to spawn also, so you don't really have to worry about them that much anyway. You just want to be aware that they can spawn. But that's pretty much every enemy. Just their elite versions that I might have not mentioned. Because I know the gun guy has an elite version, which is just bigger, but there's nothing different about him, except that he's bigger, has more HP. He's literally just the same enemy, though. So yeah, honestly, not that too much harder of a dungeon. It's just that all the enemies have a lot more HP than in the first dungeon. In the first dungeon, everything's relatively squishy, pretty easy to kill. In this dungeon, everything has a lot more HP. And then the final boss is also a lot harder. Oh, that's a lot of enemies in this room. So yeah, as I say, take down the range enemies first. Alright, and now we can just kite the melee enemies around in circles. So, one thing, I'll start talking about the final boss now. The main thing for the final boss in this dungeon is you have to have some money invested in the speed attribute from the blacksmith. If you have 0 or if you only have level 1 or 2 speed, you may not be able to beat the final boss of this dungeon unless you're really good at the game. Because the final boss is basically like the Mori turrets I mentioned, like those guys on steroids. He's ranged attacks only kind of like the first boss, but he fires them very fast and almost on no cooldown. So it's very difficult for melee classes to be able to complete it solo, unless you're really good and have the patience and are really good at dodging. For range classes, it's a bit easier, but it's still not a cakewalk. So I might make it look easy, but that's just because I farmed this dungeon like 15 times already. Well, not really 15 times. More like, across all my playthroughs, I'd say around maybe 10 times. And that's like full 100% completion. Or completing, killing the final boss. I've ran it more times without clearing the final boss. Alright, I'm actually just gonna send it up. Alright, let's go. As soon as you enter, start moving. Same thing. Check what it's doing. Here's the first pattern. It shoots 3 attacks out. Second attack is that one, and then third attack, let's see if we can do it. Oh, it has a melee attack also, so you want to be careful. And here's that's still the second attack I mentioned. Let's start doing some damage. Here's the third attack. You just want to move left and right. Ow, don't get hit by those. Let's hit it a bit. Alright. Range, or group attack. Hit, 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 hit. Move back, move back, move back. You want to bait in and out. Alright, hit it. Be careful of what it does. There we go, it's going. Go in and out. Alright, and now you just do the same thing over and over. Try not to get stuck in a corner like that, because that is a very bad thing. Ow. Oh my gosh. So basically try to keep moving left and right on it, and it won't really be able to hit you. If you're melee class, you're really going to need a lot of speed, so you can get in and out. Ow. I might actually lose. I'm gonna pop my health potion. Really likes using that attack, gosh. Alright. There is a sound cue for that attack. You can kind of hear the charge up, like, yeah, there. If you could hear it there, it did it again. Again, it did it. So, you can kind of use that as a sound cue. That attack has no sound cue, that one also has no sound cue, but it does, like, rear up a bit. So melee, no sound cue, but you can see it rear up. That one has 0 windup though. So that one, sound cue. No windup. No windup. No windup. No windup again. Holy. Melee. Go. Yep, see. So if you can kind of recognize what it's gonna do, you'll be golden. No windup. Melee, melee, go, go, melee, no wind up, no wind, or melee, no wind up, go. So if you can kind of recognize the precursors to its attack, then you'll be insane. So there you could hear the sound cue. Alright, and easy peasy. Yeah, if you're a melee class, that might be a lot harder. You might want to invest a lot more into health, and yeah. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I'd love to help anyone who's having trouble. Although I won't run it with you personally, because I believe everyone should try and beat the game on their own or with their friends. I'm not gonna carry you because that's gonna ruin the game for you. If you're getting carried, you're not actually playing the game. This is supposed to be a challenging game. If you are having a lot of trouble running the dungeon, just, level up a bit, get some more, get some more health, some more damage, some more speed. Speed is very important. You can see I have speed 10 for this. If you're melee, I recommend maxing out speed for this area. I think it's speed 12. So, just make sure you have enough speed. Other than that, you should be pretty alright. This guy's asking what level I am. 27. Alright, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Do the thing, like, comment, subscribe. Have fun. Bye-bye.